Hello once again, my Eldritch citizens. Welcome back for part 2 of 3 of my Platinum reviews.
So, you've made it this far.
Where I look back on, reflect, and review the first 3 games I ever platinumed, yet obtained in the same week. Up for review this time is Capcom's 2009 survival horror co-op game,
Resident Evil 5.
where players can choose to play as either RE1's beefy man cake, Chris Redfield, who is built like a brick shithouse in this game, or as franchise newcomer Sheva Alomar, member of an anti-bioterrorism group. Similar to RE4, the game is a third-person, over-the-shoulder shooter with all the weapons you come to expect in a Resident Evil game. And unlike previous entries, RE5 was designed for 2-player co-op gameplay.
Come on!
One player as Chris, and the other as Sheva. Co-op can be online or split screen, which brings me to my partner in crime for this platinum hunt, Mr. PSGR_TTV.
Oh, shit.
Hey,
You're
you're
running. Where are you running?
He modestly states that he does trophy hunting for the casual gamer, but Mr. P, aka Andy, is actually a platinum veteran who requested my assistance in getting the platinum trophy for RE5, after several other people he asked were unable to do so. I still love you though. I am dead.
Bye.
Bye. And so it was naturally my pleasure to carry his ass through the game. There's no stamina in this game, right?
Well, actually, I'm dead.
Chris! First, a quick reminder that timestamps are in the description, should you wish to skip to a particular section.
Ensuring complete global saturation.
The visuals of RE5 are clearly a step up from the previous entry in the series, with much more detail, better lighting, and improved animations. Obviously this game is on the older side now, but I think that the graphics actually hold up quite well to this day. And while obviously the visuals and animations don't compare to anything on offer by the AAA games of today, there wasn't anything that looked so terrible that it took me out of the experience. The one asterisk against this is that the game has a horrible greenish-brown filter over everything, with no way to remove it in-game. This was the style at the time around this era of gaming, with many titles having this sorta washed-out, brownish look to them. This game does offer other filters for you to play the game with, but personally I find them all to look pretty terrible. Something of note here is if you have the PC version of RE5, you can find mods that remove this filter, and I think improve the visuals pretty dramatically. In terms of sound though, there's not much that stands out about the soundtrack of this game, say in comparison to Stellar Blade, which I previously reviewed, but RE5 does a good job of knowing when to use silence and then ramp up the tension when enemies appear. Sound effects of weapons and the like do the job they're intended to do, and the voice acting is also good, and it still contains some of the hammy acting that certain older Resident Evil games are known for having. Andy, in particular, loved this fine piece of dialogue.
Welcome to the fireworks show. Right, enough of that.
The presentation isn't too shabby considering its age, so if you can look past some of the 7th generation datedness, that's not a word, but you will find much to like about RE5. On to the...
Well, isn't this one big family reunion?
Ah yes, the meat and 2-veg of any video game is its gameplay, and co-op aside, RE5 plays very similarly to RE4. The obvious first-person shootiness is obvious, and again you can stun or stagger enemies to get a QTE to land a melee attack. Sadly, unlike RE4, there are no wrestling moves here. You upgrade weapons with money, you collect ore from treasure and other items you sell, but there is no longer a merchant. And personally, I miss having that interaction.
Over here, stranger.
But it does mean you can now upgrade weapons at any time from the inventory screen. The co-op is a major component of the game, and if possible, I recommend you play with another person. Not only is it much more fun, but you won't have to worry about the AI, which isn't the worst in the world of gaming, but can be frustrating to play along with. In fact, the reason I never completed RE5 before this platinum hunt was because I became so annoyed with the damn AI back when the game first released.
I have that right.
That's not to say the person you are playing with won't get under your skin from time to time.
Go! Go! Wait. Thanks. Come on. Okay.
I would say griefing one another is a mandatory part of playing RE5. At various moments throughout the game, Chris and Sheva are separated, and you have to work your way back to one another. You'll want to be extra careful in these scenarios, because taking too much damage leaves you in a critical state, and only your partner can revive you. Much of the survival horror elements from previous games are missing, however, with this game being even more action-orientated than RE4. Puzzles are also few and far between, and pretty simple, although stay away from that damn laser beam. A plethora of quick-time events are found throughout, again popular at the time, appearing in both scripted events and boss battles. So if you aren't a big fan of QTEs, you may want to stay away.
The right to be a god. You. Arrogant even until the end.
The trophies here range from quite fun to just plain annoying, so let's get the bad out of the way first, shall we? Because there are several trophies that are simply unfun in this game. These tend to be on the grindy side of things. For example, there is a trophy for buying/collecting all the weapons in the game, fair enough, but also for upgrading all of these weapons, which wouldn't be so bad, except both myself and Andy were finding it difficult to acquire enough cashola, even with collecting ample amounts of treasure and cash from in-game. We had to find some kind of, I guess, workaround where we continually reloaded a part of a chapter, where a nearby pile of gold could be found for 6k on professional mode, although I ground it out on normal for 3k, like a chump. It was not a good time. Also, there are a handful of eggs that you need to collect for a trophy, and there seems to be a certain amount of RNG in finding them, which you might think isn't too bad, but we must have lucked out as we kept finding all the eggs we didn't need. At least you can exchange the eggs with your partner after popping the trophy, and it counts for them as well. Strangely, we had to go out of our way to do the Friend in Need trophy, which is a pretty common trophy to get by all rights. This involves saving your partner 10 times when help is shown. I guess we were just that damn good.
This is a testament.
Testament?
No, I'm not. Of like how well we've actually played this game. If we haven't got this trophy yet, and we're still doing this shit.
Most of the other trophies are what you expect. Collectible trophies like the weapons that I mentioned before, and trophies for completing each chapter of the game and for completing the game on normal, veteran, and professional difficulty modes. I will say though, there are some pretty fun trophies. Defeating 30 enemies with the crackling cattle prod, and also mowing down another 30 with the Gatling gun as Chris is pretty damn satisfying. And my personal favourite, the Works, where you get the maximum combo of physical hits on an enemy. PSN Profiles has this game at a 4 out of 10 difficulty, and certainly with a friend this will be easy to achieve. Still not sure about with the AI though. And the platinum can apparently be achieved in 2 playthroughs, probably with some cleanup at the end, if I'm honest. Of course, all this was based on my experience playing the game with a good buddy, but if you decide to attempt the platinum of RE5 on your own or with random people, you may have a much rougher time with it. I therefore give Resident Evil 5 3 out of 5 dank green herbs for platinuming, probably dropping down to 2 if you are soloing it. So whether you want to play as Roydy, boulder punching man's man Chris Redfield, or I only ever appeared in this game in the series, but I'm actually quite rad Sheva Alomar, one thing is certain.
7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare to play with you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yes. Pale blood. Well, you've come to the right place.
Ah, you found yourself a hunter.